Hello my friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna crochet one beautiful stitch with 3 colors of this yarn, Alize Baby Best and 3.5 millimeters hook. For the beginning, with first yarn, make a slip knot and start chaining. The number of chains in this pattern should be an even number. I made 20 chains and now skip the first chain and make a single crochet into second chain from the hook and then make single crochet into other chains. Single crochet into next chain, again single crochet into the next, single crochet into the next, and continue until the end of the row. Now I'm at the end of row and I want to make last single crochet, but don't complete that because I want to change the yarn. So grab the next yarn and pull it through to complete last stitch and make a chain to secure that. Then make one chain and turn the work. In this row, make one single crochet into first stitch of previous row and then make one puff stitch into next stitch. Yarn over, insert the hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up loop, again yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up loop, and for last time repeat that work. And now I have 7 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all of them, then chain 1. Okay, now skip next stitch and make one puff stitch into the next. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, pull through all loops, chain 1, skip the next, make one puff stitch into the next. 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over, pull through all loops and chain 1, skip the next, make one puff stitch into the next, and repeat this sequence until the end of the row. Now I'm at the end of row 2 and I have 9 puff stitches, and without chaining after last puff stitch, make one single crochet into last stitch of previous row, but don't complete that because I want to change the yarn again, and grab the third yarn and complete this single crochet and make a chain to secure that. Okay. We have no chain between this single crochet and first puff stitch, and between last puff stitch and this single crochet. Okay, make a chain and turn the work and start the third row. In this row we have to make one single crochet into first stitch and then skip next puff stitch and go down 2 rows below here and make one puff stitch into this skipped stitch of row 1. 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over, pull through all loops, then chain 1. Again, skip next puff stitch of previous row and go down and make one puff stitch into this skipped stitch of 2 rows below. 1, 2, and 3, and chain 1, and continue this work. Skip next puff stitch of previous row and go down and make one puff stitch into skipped stitch of 2 rows below, and then make a chain. Again, skip next puff stitch and make one puff stitch into this skipped stitch between these 2 puff stitches of previous row of 2 rows below, and make a chain and continue this work until the end. At the end of row 3 I have 8 puff stitches, 1 less than the puff stitches of row 2, and after last puff stitch don't make any chain and skip this puff stitch and make one single crochet into last single crochet, but don't complete that. And I want to change the yarn and grab the first yarn again and complete this single crochet. then chain 1 to secure that. Okay, now make a chain and turn the work to start row 4. In this row, we have to make 1 puff stitch 2 rows below in this row before this first puff stitch. We don't have any chain 1 space here between this first single crochet and first puff stitch, but make 1 puff stitch here into this space between them and insert the hook into the space and make a 1 puff stitch. Then make a chain. Okay, skip next puff stitch of previous row and go down 2 rows below and make 1 puff stitch here before this puff stitch into this chain 1 space. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 again. Skip next puff stitch of previous row, go down 2 rows below and make 1 puff stitch into this chain 1 space before this puff stitch. Chain 1 and again skip next puff stitch and make 1 puff stitch into this chain 1 space of 2 rows below before this puff stitch. And make a chain and continue this work and make 1 puff stitch into each chain 1 space of 2 rows below until the end. At the end, I have 9 puff stitches again, such as the second row, and this is the last puff stitch. After that, don't make 1 chain and make 1 single crochet into last stitch of previous row, but don't complete that. I want to continue the work with second yarn again, pull it through and make a chain to secure that. Chain 1 and turn the work and start row 5. In this row, first make 1 single crochet into first stitch and then make 1 puff stitch into chain 1 space of 2 rows below here before this puff stitch. Okay, we don't need to make 1 puff stitch before first puff stitch of previous row. Go to this space and make 1 puff stitch here. Make a chain, again skip next puff stitch and make 1 puff stitch into this chain 1 space of 2 rows below. 1 chain, skip next puff stitch of previous row and make 1 puff stitch into chain 1 space of 2 rows below. Chain 1, skip the next puff stitch and make 1 puff stitch here into this chain 1 space of 2 rows below and continue this work until the end of the row. At the end, I have 8 puff stitches again, such as the third row here, yellow row. Okay, and after last puff stitch, don't make any chain and make 1 single crochet into last stitch of previous row. Skip this puff stitch and make 1 single crochet into the last single crochet, but don't complete that. Grab this yarn, the third yarn, and complete the last stitch and make a chain and 1 chain, turn the work. And then we have to repeat these 2 rows, row 4 and row 5. And in repeat of row 4, we have to make 1 puff stitch 2 rows below before first puff stitch of previous row, but for a repeat of row 5 we don't have to make 1 puff stitch before first puff stitch of previous row. A number of puff stitches in each row should be 8 and then 9, again 8 and 9, and continue this work until the height of the work reach the desired size. For the project, I made this stitch in larger size, and you can see the pattern. Front view of that and the back view of that are the same, and it's very nice and very beautiful. I hope this video will be useful for you. If you like that, please thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Have a nice day.